Welcome to My Spoonie Sisters, featuring stories from special guests dedicated to empowering those with chronic illness. Our goal? To connect people and provide the support and tools they need to live a better life. For those with chronic illness, our energy levels just fade faster. We must be more purposeful with the spoons allotted to us. So grab your coffee or tea, sister, and tune in as My Spoonie Sisters share stories of living with chronic illness. Hi, my Spoonie Sisters. I'm Gracefully Jen, and I have a rock star with us today. This is Chelsey, and a lot of you know her from My Immune System Hates Me. Hi, Chelsey.
Hi, Jenny. How's it going?
I'm so good. I was so excited to have you here, and it's kind of funny because now you're on the other side.
It is. Yeah. Tables have turned. I'm not in control.
You know, I'm thinking back to that first time that we had our chat. I think it was back in October, and what a nervous wreck I was and how sweet you were.
You were so nervous, and I was like, it's going to be fine. I can edit anything out. If you say something that you regret, I'll take it out. It's your own pace. And now look at you.
And now I have to channel my inner Chelsey. Whenever I have a chat with someone, I have to be like, it's okay. We can like chat before we record and get us all calmed down. It's going to be okay. So for people that don't know you, will you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Chelsey. I'm 32 years old. I live in New York City, but I'm originally from Canada. I'm a dual citizen though. I work for a children's musical theater program where I work with kids, and then I also perform shows for kids. So I'm a little bit on the behind the scenes and on the stage type of job. And I have rheumatoid arthritis. I was diagnosed, I guess it was about a year and a half ago. Yeah, a year and a half ago I was diagnosed. So that's me.
And today you had a rheumatologist appointment.
I did. One of
tell us all
the
about
usual. Sure. So previous to this appointment, I've tried a couple different medications. My first medication was sulfasalazine, which actually put me into remission for about 5 months. I was feeling great. And then it just like stopped working. All of a sudden one day I was like, whoa, pain, it's back. From there, I went on to methotrexate, which didn't do anything for me, but because it's one of those drugs that works best in combination with other drugs, I am still on methotrexate. After being on that for about 4 months with no improvement, I started taking Humira once every other week, and that worked for a couple weeks, and then it didn't work. So we upped that. We went to weekly Humira. And that worked for a couple of weeks until it didn't work. So today my appointment was to kind of figure out what's next. When I told my doctor, like, hey, I'm still in pain and I have been experiencing extreme fatigue since doing the weekly Humira. And he was like, it's not working, so stop taking it. Come into the office. We'll find another plan. So that was today's meeting. And he gave me Xeljanz, which is a JAK inhibitor, and it's a pill, which I like because although I'm okay with needles, the needle didn't bother me doing Humira, but I made lots of mistakes. And there was always like a little too much blood afterwards, or sometimes a bit of a bruise. So I'm not good at doing it myself. So I'm quite grateful to just be taking a pill now. It's a daily pill, and continuing with the methotrexate. So he says it should start working in a couple weeks. So fingers crossed that this is the moment. But I did kind of sit down with him and ask, I always have like stupid questions because, as you mentioned, I had a podcast. So I feel like I know everything about all RA things.
I thought you did.
I know. I thought I did too. But then sometimes I like to quiz the rheumatologist, you see. I want to make sure that he knows as much as I do. because I'm the true professional. So he gave me this medication and I was like, okay, so I know Humira is a TNF blocker, but what does this do? And he was like, it's a JAK inhibitor. And I was like, please explain to me what that does to my cells. And he did. He like took me through it. And for a minute, I thought he was going to be like, no, you're not a doctor. You don't need to know how this works. But he did. He like took me through how like it attaches to the cell receptors and it like blocks the inflammation in these certain ways. And I was like, oh, thanks for actually explaining it to me and not just being like, just take the damn pill.
Exactly.
Because sometimes they do that too.
So are there any side effects that he wanted you to watch out for?
Yeah. As soon as he gave them to me, he was like, look, there's a big warning on there that people who are 55 and up with previous like cardiovascular issues, it has been known to cause some heart attacks or lead to heart attacks. He was like, you're obviously not in that age range and you don't have any, cardiovascular issues. So he's not worried about it. But that was one of the things he let me know of. So he'll be tracking once I'm on it, he'll be tracking like my lab results and kind of see if it's doing okay to the rest of my body, which is like kind of the dumb thing with these meds is there's always like long lasting side effects, but we do it because it's better than being in pain every day.
And why not slow down the progression of the disease if we can?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think that I was going to be put on Xeljanz years ago. And unless I'm mixing it up with a different medication, I'm thinking the reason why we ruled that one out for me is because in some cases, super rare, but I am the rare, it raise cholesterol. And I already battle cholesterol problems. In fact, I had to go on cholesterol medication the last couple months. So.
Okay. Yeah. See, that is one of after I came home, of course, I trust my doctor, but I then, of course, need to read all the pamphlets about it. So I did read that it does raise cholesterol and I have like borderline cholesterol issues. So that's another thing we'll have to watch. I think if that does happen to me, I'll go on cholesterol lowering medications maybe to battle it before just switching meds. But that's interesting that they just ruled it out right away for you.
Yeah. Well, so, I have a genetic issue with cholesterol. And so it doesn't matter how much I exercise, what I eat, anything, whatever they've had me do, my cholesterol numbers will never come down to the right levels. Wow. And so I've been fighting it for years. I had to go back on cholesterol medication. My last appointment, the numbers hadn't came down like hardly at all, like maybe 3 points. So he doubled my dose. So we'll see.
Okay. Great. Just add that to the list of things.
I know. Enough about me because we are here about you. So were you always familiar with the term spoonie?
No, once I was diagnosed and I kind of like posted about it on my Instagram, my old high school friend named Jill, she's also a chronic illness warrior. She wrote me a message and kind of introduced me to the community. She was like, yeah, there are so many like people out there that you can follow. She sent me a couple things and she was like, and you should check out the hashtag like Spoonie Life and like Spoonie problems and Spoonie. And I was like, what the heck are you talking about? What's a Spoonie? What kind of illness is that? Exactly. And then she explained to me what the spoon theory was. So she was the first one that kind of introduced me to the term. And now, yeah, I'm in it.
And now you're tossing spoons with us in videos.
Of course.
Okay. What do you wish you would have known at the beginning of your journey?
Oh, man. A couple things. One is like the first thing when you first search rheumatoid arthritis into Google, the first image that pops up is like someone's hands that are like, slanted and the fingers are crooked and stuff. So that's the first thing you see and it kind of scares you a bit. But I think one of the things I wish I knew is like, that's not, inevitable. There are ways to prevent that. And that's what these medications are for. At first I was like, that's it. I'll never walk again. But then on the flip side of that, I also wish I knew that just because, we all know that there's no cure for RA, but just because there are medications that treat it, you still don't feel 100%. Like that's one of the things, like you watch the commercials of people who are like on their Humira or their Actemra and they're hiking mountains and they're rowing boats and all I think now. At first I was like, man, I want one of those meds. Those people are doing great. And now I watch those videos and I'm like, ooh, you're going to pay for that tomorrow. Like there is no feeling back to normal. I don't know that in my experience. It sounds really pessimistic, but
Yeah. And well, when you see one of those commercials, don't you picture someone like Danny?
yeah, right. And
Yeah.
like Danny has up days and down days, you're never going to be 100% all the time. You're going to have ups and downs.
Exactly. And, she and so many other people are such an encouragement to all of us to get off our butts and stay moving. But what everyone needs to realize is they struggle just like we do. And they don't have 100% perfect days. And sometimes it's all they can do to roll out of bed and get up that mountain.
Yeah.
So those commercials need to chill because they are like liars.
I just wish the commercials also showed them the next day in bed with like ice packs on their feet.
No, maybe they need to just have you in a commercial.
Or I'll do a commercial and I'll be like, hey guys, here's the real tea.
Yeah. Here's me.
I'll
dancing.
hike this mountain, but yeah.
Like, here's me dancing today. And here's what I have to do tonight to get through the pain that I now have.
Yeah. Ups and downs.
What is your most triumphant warrior moment?
I was thinking about this and I can't think of one. I feel like the reason that we call ourselves warriors is because it's a daily thing. I can't think of like one time where I was like, yes, I conquered this. I'm a warrior. Because there are some days where I just feel like that all week, where I'm like, man, I danced for 4 hours and I'm still standing. So yeah, I don't know that I can pinpoint one moment. It's just kind of like getting through the day. Sometimes I'm like, that was a warrior day. I did it.
I survived. I got through it. Where's my ice?
Yes. Yeah. Give me that ice back.
All right. Here's another fun one for you. Do you have a hidden talent or a secret gift that we are unaware of?
I feel like all my gifts are on display at all times, No, yeah, I don't know. I have like hidden gifts. I mean, they're not hidden. I like sing and dance and stuff. And then I have other hidden gifts as far as like I have pretty good memory for certain events and people. But yeah, I don't know that I have anything that's hidden. I feel like if I have a talent, I'm like, look at this.
Everyone, see what I made?
Look what I can do.
Now, you like was it knitting or crocheting?
I knitted. I haven't in a while though, because RA.
Yeah. I used to like to crochet,
but
I haven't tried that in years. I have the supplies.
I've been told that crocheting is a little easier on your hands because you don't have to grip it as hard. Can you hear that ambulance? Oh my gosh.
No, but I had an ambulance go by and then I had a screaming child go by. So I was like giving you these weird eyes. And that's why I looked out my office window and I'm like, oh.
Chaos. Anyway, no, I've heard that crocheting is a little bit easier on your hands because you don't have to grip it, but I haven't tried it yet. Because also since I've stopped knitting, I got a cat. And I don't know how my cat's going to react to string.
I'm going to think it's the best thing on earth.
She will eat a whole ball of yarn.
Now, I think we need to tell everybody about your cat and how your cat has this awesome Instagram with all these fun reels.
My cat is wild. When I first was like, I'm going to get a cat, it's because it was weird. We were just coming out of the pandemic and I lived alone. So I was like, I need something to cuddle. So let me get a cute little cuddly cat and then it'll sit on my lap all the time. And my cat does not cuddle. She barely tolerates being pet. She just wants to play and run around and act a fool, which is not good for cuddling, but it's great for Instagram reels.
And it's great entertainment. At least she keeps you on your toes.
Yes. Oh, does she? Yeah. So if you want to check out her reels, she's at little_Edie, EDIE_cat. And she's foolish.
And she's hilarious. I have my own Instagram for the cats too. And mine are boring compared to yours. One of these days, we just need to like make a trade. You can borrow my little midget cat that likes to lick and cuddle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you can have your house destroyed by my cat. It's a trade.
Yeah. You know, my daughter's cat is just like yours, and she's or actually hers is a he. He is very entertaining. We should just
Mhm.
have the two of them locked in a room together.
Oh my gosh, only one will survive.
All right. Let's see. How would the ones closest to you describe you?
Oh, dang. I don't know. My mom would probably be like, "Oh my gosh, she's so smart and independent." She'd use those silly words. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like outwardly, I'm quite like put together. And people think I'm quite mature. But then when I start talking, you're like, "Oh, you like fart jokes. Okay." Um,
You're normal.
so,
You're human.
oh, you're like that. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So if you had to create a guidebook for newly diagnosed warriors, what would be the first thing you'd add to the Spoonie 101 chapter?
Oh, that's good.
You can thank
Spoonie.
Antoinette. Yep. She wrote half these questions.
Antoinette, these are good. Okay, if I had to write a guidebook in the chapter Spoonie 101, I think number one, when you're first being diagnosed, the first thing you need to know is you have to advocate for yourself. And you are allowed to push back on what a doctor says. If you disagree with them, you're allowed to ask follow-up questions and ask them to check again or run more tests. What is happening over there?
I wish I knew, but I'm pretty sure I just heard a file cabinet being dragged around. Drug, moved. I heard screeching. I'm so sorry.
Who is doing that? Your grandson, Xander?
No. I'm in my office because I was afraid if I went home, I'd have worse background noise, but it doesn't matter where I go, there's background noise.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. Any more recommendations for the Spoonie 101?
No, I think it's mostly advocate. Don't settle until you have answers. Keep pushing. Don't let a doctor say, come back in a couple months and we'll reevaluate like they did to Madison. That's rude. They've done it to my mom too, where they've been like, just come back in a couple months. And if you're still in pain, I'll address it. That's not acceptable.
Well, the good news is Madison gets to see the rheumatologist next week.
Oh,
maybe someday we'll get her on here. I'll probably have to do all the talking.
Yeah, you'll have to drag her in.
I think Danny's slowly pecking at her, knocking her down, and getting her to like come out of the show.
Okay.
We'll see.
Keep pecking.
All right. This is a big one. Again, thank Antoinette. If I asked you to nominate a fellow warrior for a Spoonie Sister highlight, who would you nominate and why?
Oh man, I can't pick favorites. They're like my children. I can't choose.
Maybe you need to give me 5.
I know.
Maybe 10.
Like, what? There's so many to choose from.
I feel like I could name 10, 20. I don't even know.
I know. And lots of them I know you already have, but like Colleen, of course, Danny, Antoinette,
Chelsey.
who else? Well, me, obviously. Even like, he's not a sister, but I love Ray. He always has some good stories.
We'll probably have to get him on here sometime because I think we're gonna have to do some bonus episodes with our Spoonie brothers.
Yeah, can't leave those brothers.
We gotta include them somehow, right?
Yeah. There's so many. I mean, Laurence, she'd be a great one to talk to. Oh, there's so many. You.
There's just so many, and so many that are advocating for others and so big in the community, just wrapping their arms around and lifting and carrying people. That's what I love about our community.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was first diagnosed, I would reach out to total strangers on Instagram, and I never once got a response that was like, no, I don't have time for you. I got a response from every single person, and every single person was like, hey, I got you. Reach out anytime you need. And I try and do the same when people reach out to me too, just because like we've been handed a sucky hand. And so anything I can do to help the next person get through it, if I have any advice I can give or any experience that will help them out, I'm going to give it. And I feel like that's how most of us are. Is like the road is already going to be hard. Whatever I can do to make it a little easier for you, I'm going to do.
I look at it like any of us that are out of the scary part of it, the beginning stages, I think I almost feel like it's our duty to be for them what we needed.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Which is why we're like sisters, take care of each other.
What would you tell your younger self? Yeah. What would you tell your younger self about your current self? That's where it was.
Oh, what would I tell them about myself, or what would I like warn them about?
Ooh, either one.
I would definitely warn my younger self not to eat so much fast food. I went through when I first got a car, I was in a drive-through every day, because I was like, I have a car, I can do whatever I want. And that probably put me in a tough position where I am. I'm sure it didn't help. So lay off the fast food, young Chelsey. But don't take what you have for granted. You only have so many days left of feeling good. Oh my gosh, I feel so doom and gloom today. Your time is running out. No, but take it. Don't, you're privileged at the moment. You have, no pain. You can do all the things. So like do them now so that later you can relax and rest a bit.
Dance all day.
Don't
all day.
Stop. Yeah.
Okay. What do you appreciate the most about yourself? Calling all Spoonies. As a host of a chronic illness podcast, nothing lights up my day more than hearing from you, our incredible listeners. Whether it's a topic close to your heart that you want us to uncover, or you are keen to show your own journey as a guest on our show, your voice matters. Living with chronic illness can often feel isolating, but through the power of podcasting, we can come together as a community to uplift, educate, and inspire one another. Your stories, insights, and questions drive the conversations we have and the topics we explore. So if there's something on your mind, a story that you are just itching to share, or a guest you'd love to hear from, don't hesitate to reach out. Your voice is not only welcomed here, but celebrated. Let's continue to amplify the voices of those living with chronic illnesses and create a space where everyone feels heard, supported, and empowered. Together, we are stronger.
I do appreciate my determination. No matter how crappy I'm feeling, I don't let myself sit in like the pity too long. I will be like, all right, you feel bad for yourself. That's cool, but you still have things to do. So like, get up, get out. I procrastinate, but I always get the things done.
There you go.
So, balance.
What makes you profoundly proud of yourself?
Oh, profoundly proud of myself. Whoa.
Once again, thanks, Antoinette.
Antoinette, you're hitting hard. Oh, I don't know. I never thought of myself as an extrovert. I find social situations to be quite challenging, and I get really anxious going out to any social settings. But somehow I was able to turn this scary new illness and diagnosis into almost a social activity. Like I have met so many people through my podcast and then starting the RA Warrior support group. And I don't get the same like social anxiety when I do those things. I think because I know that it's for a greater cause. So I am quite proud of myself for turning it into a a community and a helping rather than like a poor me. I'm using it to help others and to spread the word and raise awareness.
Well, and I think you nailed it right there. I think so many of us are introverted, but it's kind of forced us out of our shells. And I actually appreciate that. I really do.
Yeah.
And it's fun to actually watch some more of these girls start slowly coming out. And yes, yeah. I love it. If you had to promise yourself something right now, what would you promise yourself?
I promise. Oh, that's a tricky one. I would promise myself not to let RA take over. Let it, it will affect me, but it's not going to be the number one thing in my life. They're not going to write on my tombstone, she had RA. It's going to be just like a little blip in my lifetime, and I'm not going to let it hold me back or stop me from doing the things I want to do.
No, not at all. It's going to talk about how talented you are, your phenomenal singing and dancing and creativity. We're going to get you doing some more of those reels, sharing that beautiful voice with us.
Oh, yeah. Those reels were fun.
Maybe singing and dancing at the same time.
Oh, come up with a new like TikTok dance craze, but while singing.
We're going to call it the Chelsey.
Okay.
All right, let's see here. Where should we go with this one? If you can only keep 4 items in your Spoonie toolkit, what would those 4 items be?
Okay, my 4 items in my Spoonie toolkit. I would keep my toe spreaders. Those are great after a long day. I would keep ankle compression socks. I would keep my compression gloves. And the 4th and final thing, it's got to be good. Oh man. Ooh, biofreeze.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I have the kitchen mama, I think I added that one to mine.
Oh yeah, mine are all like for my actual body, but I also have so many automatic things. Oh, crock pot. Okay, yeah. Wait. I'm gonna take out the toe spreaders. I'm gonna put in a crock pot because I have yet, I don't know, in months. That's all I've been cooking with is just throw it in the crock pot and then leaving it.
Well, and I think you had a reel sharing a soup that you made one time. Maybe we're gonna get some more of that from you. You're gonna give us all your fun recipes for the crock pot.
Maybe. Yeah. They're all so easy. Oh my goodness. Here's a good one. Just on the fly, for free. I put chicken breast in the crock pot with salsa and taco seasoning.
Yes.
Stir it on up. Then once it's cooked, I put it on high for 2 hours. I have a tiny crock pot though, so it goes faster. And then you can like throw it on a thing and have like a quesadilla, get some cheese and beans and corn. It's already seasoned.
Yeah, it's Jeremy and Madison's. For those of you that don't know, that's my husband and daughter. It is their favorite recipe to do in the crock pot.
So good.
Yeah. And what was the other one? Oh, mac and cheese. Have you tried making mac and cheese in the crock pot?
No, I have not.
There's an amazing recipe on Pinterest. Super, super easy. It's creamy and amazing.
You'll have to send it to me.
I got to figure out where I put it, but I'll find it. I will find it and I will send it to you. Okay, let's see. I feel like I need to ask you something else. I mean, look at this. There are like pages upon pages of ideas.
Oh, wow.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, here's a good one. Name something that keeps you sane during intense flares.
Therapy. I have weekly therapy. And actually, there was one week where my therapist, Linda, she canceled on me. She gave me notice. It wasn't like a last minute thing, but she canceled one of our appointments and I was in such a big flare. And the next week she was like, how's your week been? And I was like, no, we got to go back a whole nother week. I got to tell you all about it. And she does, she checks in on me and she gives me ideas on how to kind of cope with the stress and the pain and then dealing with the doctors. And she holds me accountable. She'll be like, hey, did you call this person? Did you look into this yet? Have you done this? And I'm like, oh, okay, Linda, I'll do it. But yeah, that's what keeps me sane in a flare, is being like, I have Linda in 2 days. I need to tell her everything.
Everyone needs a Linda.
Oh, Linda.
Is she in person?
She was at first, but since COVID, we've been virtual, and honestly, it works.
Okay.
Because I can like fit her in. If I have to go into work early on the day of therapy, I can like take her from the storage room or something like that. So yeah, virtual actually has worked for us pretty good.
I haven't tried it, but I keep telling everybody to check out betterhelp.com.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't know anything about it, but I hear about it all the time. And so I'm like, okay, if you need somebody, call them.
Yeah. In a pinch, they're good too. I know I did it one time before I had Linda, and I was like, I need someone now. And they kind of will set you up with somebody, or maybe that was Talkspace. I don't know, but either way.
You know what? People just Google it or Google find my Linda. I'm just kidding. All right. I could easily keep you for hours. We're going to wrap it up, but where can we find you and follow you?
So my personal page on Instagram is Chelsey Boom. That's CHELSEYBOOM. If you want to go back, my podcast had ended, but if you want to go back and listen to past episodes, it's called My Immune System Hates Me, and you'll hear Jenny on there talking. And then I'm also active on Instagram with that profile, My Immune System Pod. And though I don't post about the podcast anymore, I'll still post like updates on my RA life. You can also find me on Thursday nights in the Rheumatoid Arthritis Warrior Group. It's a peer-led support group that I started with some help from our pal Stephanie. And Jenny, you come a lot, and most of the Spoonie Sisters, lots of the Spoonie Sisters are in there as well. So that's another place you can find me and talk to me in real life, but on a computer.
Absolutely. And it's a fun group. We laugh, we cry, we vent. Mm-hmm. Come join it, and we'll try to lift you up a little bit.
Yeah, we'll try.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And all you Spoonie Sisters, we are so glad that you got to hear Chelsey. Come back next time. I don't know who we're going to have next, but come on back and don't forget your spoon.
Yay.
The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only. Consult your own physician for any medical issues that you may be having. The information should not be taken as a replacement for medical, clinical, professional advice, diagnoses, or medical intervention. My Spoonie Sisters and guests will not be held liable for any of the consequences of such action or inaction. Trigger warning. Some episodes may cover sensitive topics including, but not limited to, suicide, abuse, mental illness, and chronic disease. You are advised to refrain from listening if you are likely to be offended or adversely impacted by any of these topics. None of the guests or hosts will be responsible for your use of the information contained therein. Life is not merely to be alive, but to be well. Living a life with a chronic illness is best described with one word: unpredictable. Be Well's products are designed to make the unpredictable easier to deal with. Back when I was getting my infusions, I would have loved to have their adult zip hoodie. They even have one in pink. They also have everything from one-day pill holders to urgency buckets. So remember, they want to make your life a little easier. So be sure to check out Be Well.